Hey Blockheads, this is DJ AK the Amanda Knight, and I'm here to let you know that my so-called whatever podcast and No More Games Radio have joined forces. Listen to No More Games Radio on Sundays at 2 p.m. for your favorite episodes of my so-called whatever podcast, and maybe a live episode? Who knows? Tune in to my so-called whatever podcast for upcoming No More Games radio features and exclusive stories from our staff and DJs. And as always, follow us on social media at No More Games Radio and at my so-called whatever. Hang tough!
Friends forever, that's what we are. Through the thick and the thin, we're friendship stars. We're banger main buddies from the days of old. We laugh, cry, and hug, friendship solid as gold. My so-called whatever started a year ago. We share our stories and your stories were told. 80s, 90s memories that give us glee. And on the block party shows and KOTB. Now our friendship circle has grown by far. Hashtag friends forever, that's what we all are. Boom! And if you don't know, now you know. My so-called whatever for life. Hashtag MSCW. Hashtag friends forever. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey guys. Just wanted to add this little thing in the beginning. We wanted to have a trigger warning here for anybody who eating
disordered eating. Yeah.
That kind of talk.
We clearly, this is not our this is a whatever episode. We don't really know how to describe it, but if you're triggered by any sort of talk about diets, weight loss, binge eating, or anything of the like.
Right. You shouldn't listen to this episode. Maybe wait till next week.
I am so comfortable.
This is okay, you guys. So this is like the most comfortable I've ever been doing a podcast episode.
Same.
We are both in bed, laying down like it's a sleepover. If you could see us right now,
oh my gosh.
We would take a picture, but they are not, these like angles are not good angles. So I think you understand. Yeah. But yeah, it's comfy. It's so comfy.
It's so comfy. I'm like in my position of like sleep. Like this is how I lay when I fall asleep. And I'm going to try not to fall asleep. I took a pretty sizable nap this afternoon. So I think I'm okay.
You did?
I did. I was exhausted. I didn't mean to take a nap. But I was in the recliner and Pete was watching something that I had no interest in and it just happened.
You know what? Sometimes it just happens and sometimes you absolutely need it. So.
Oh, I definitely did.
I'm going to be clearing my throat again. And Kevin's going to laugh as I'm editing this. He's going to be listening to me talking about this. I've been sick and I'm just now feeling good. Like, still not myself 100%. Wasn't COVID. Don't know what it was. But it like took me out. I was out down for the count. And my breathing, it really affected my breathing, which scares me because my breathing hasn't been right since COVID. So,
I mean, that is scary.
My breath. So I apologize in advance if you hear my like breathing. It is what it is.
I mean, I think that they're going to hear my breathing. Not just because.
I don't think so.
Like, I feel like I'm heavy breathing and I can't not. So.
Well, I've got the mic like right up my mouth. So
you do. And I don't.
Yeah.
I keep yawning. This is scary.
Oh no, don't fall asleep.
So comfy. Wouldn't that be weird? If you're like,
Brooke, it's not like it hasn't happened before, like when we've been on the phone. You've fallen asleep with me on the phone before.
Right. That was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago, but
back in the olden days.
And you'd fall asleep like while we were like not texting, but like instant messaging, and I'd be like, Brooke. And the next morning I'd be like, oh, I fell asleep. We do that texting all the time too.
I do that a lot, texting. I'll just like pass out.
So,
like when the phone hits your face, and you're just like,
yeah, you're like, oh, great, this is wonderful. So I think we should just jump right into this, my so-called whatever episode. Shall we?
I agree because this has been one that's like a long time coming.
Right.
So
we're gonna dig deep on this one. Yeah.
Let's intro and then we'll get right into it.
Sounds good.
This is Brooke.
And this is Nikki from our beds.
And this is my so-called whatever. Our volume 2, my so-called whatever episode.
That's right. That's right.
It's been a while since we did our first one.
Right. And we plan on doing many more.
Totally.
But
I just think it's fun.
Yeah. This one we both kind of came to together.
Yeah, because it's, I mean, let's face it, this is a huge part of our lives.
It really is a giant part of our lives. Giant.
And I hate that.
I do too. This has definitely been a large part of our lives. And like you said, I wish it wasn't, but it is. And I think we're going to get like raw. Like,
I mean, like, kind of
vulnerable. Like this is very vulnerable for both of us to talk about.
Well, it is. It's a sensitive subject for a lot of people.
It is.
And I'm trying to like not like in my everyday life, like my like work life and just interacting with people that aren't like close family and friends. I don't try to like inject it into everything, but I used to hide this sort of stuff.
Yeah. No,
and I'm trying to not hide it anymore because it's like something that a lot of people have been through or are going through or are on their minds, and it's totally normal for people trying to make healthier choices or whatever, and what's right for one person isn't right for the next.
That's the biggest thing right there, is what works for, and what we're talking about is we're talking about, I guess, like the whole topic of like weight and
right,
body image, but like Brooke said, it's important to talk openly about this. Like, this is what it is.
Right. Like it's something like I've struggled with my weight my entire adult life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's changed like over the years. It's changed like societal norms and like
right.
And all of that. It has changed. It's evolved. I think that, more recently, just with social media and stuff, it's gotten more to like an acceptance movement than a you should hide yourself. But then for me at 41 years old, it's not even so much about how I look. It's about how I feel and about wanting to be healthy for my family and for the future.
100%.
Which is completely different than how it was when I was in my 20s.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. Unlike you, I've struggled with this my entire life. I have struggled with my weight since I was a little kid. Whether or not it was really a struggle is in the eye of the beholder, I guess, if you will. And I don't want to make my mom out to be a villain, because I'm just saying that there's just so much put on being thin. I was chubby, but like I wasn't overly fat, but I think she was worried that I was going to be. But then I found sports. Brooke is like sneezing like crazy. I used to take NoDoz. That would like stop me from being hungry. Found out that you shouldn't take that. But
I forgot about NoDoz.
Yeah, I used to take that all the time.
I used to take NoDoz.
Honestly, it made me feel normal, which later on makes perfectly great sense because I had ADHD and it made me feel like steady. Like, so that makes sense.
It regulated something in
right.
You.
But I was never hungry. And, you know, it was just something that I needed to fit in my basketball uniform. And that was a big deal. And my basketball uniform was not big. It was not a big uniform. And like that was always on me. Like I needed to make sure that I fit in that uniform because it would be so embarrassing because what would I do if I didn't fit in it? Like they couldn't give me another uniform because there was no other uniform to give me. So that's like, and that's why I get really upset when like uniforms for schools, they don't have bigger sizes because I feel like those kids are going through the same thing.
Oh, sure. And also like bigger picture, the size of one's body does not dictate their like athleticism and
correct.
And I feel like that's not right because there might be a kid who isn't a bigger body but is a hell of a player.
Right. Exactly. And I've seen that. Like I've seen that. I've witnessed that. And it's stupid. And so like when it came to being thin, there came a point where I didn't have to really try hard to be thin. Until about my senior year. And that's like when birth control comes into the picture. That definitely had an effect on me. I grew boobs. Like I never had boobs. Brooke as my witness, never had boobs. All of a sudden got them my senior year. Went from like an AB to like a D. It was very like my uniform was tight. It was tight. It still fit, but it was tight. And that's when I started really getting like, okay, I need to go on a diet. Like that's when the dieting started for me. Consistently was around that time, like my senior year basketball season, like trying to find a diet that, because like there weren't really for us, there weren't really a lot of diets except the ones in the magazines that would be like lose 20 pounds by the end of the month. And like you're eating chicken and vegetables. I also never really learned how to eat properly. I will put that out there. No offense to my mom. Seriously. It's just the way it was. And I'm sure other people can relate. My mom worked a 40-hour work week. So did my dad. So things were like fast, like quick fix meals, like cube steak. And I mean, we always had a vegetable. It was always carrots, and I could not stand cooked carrots. Could not stand them.
I love cooked carrots.
Oh my God, I can't, because that's all I had. Like I would eat spinach with vinegar, and that was a treat for me, like from the can. Like that. If I had to choose a vegetable, we hardly ever had corn, but it was always carrots. And my mom would get so mad. She'd be like, you need to eat your carrots. And I'm like, I'm not going to eat them. I don't like carrots. So that was a big thing for me, was that I never was taught how to cook. I was never taught how to like have a balanced meal. I'm like just now coming into this on my own. Like literally in the past, like probably like 10 years, I have learned to finally like cook for my family and like, and I know that sounds awful, but I mean, it is what it is. Like sometimes you just don't learn how to cook, and I didn't. So that's my story.
As a kid, like, okay, so for me as a kid, I was pretty normal, except for like puberty. Puberty is awkward for everybody.
Yeah.
So like, I was kind of chubby, but I will never, ever, ever forget. I was like 10 years old, and I went to my yearly checkup with my pediatrician. Only it wasn't my regular pediatrician, it was a different one.
Oh.
And I don't know like if she was I don't know, on maternity leave or something. I don't know. It was just it was a man, pediatrician. And I will never forget him telling my mom that I was too overweight and I needed to lose weight. I was 10. I was 10. And I didn't know that I
You
needed
see
to
this
lose
in
weight.
front of you?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And my mom, being the mom she is, I don't even know if she'd remember this, but she didn't put me on a diet. I was a child.
Right.
Like, we didn't always have, we always had a meal, and it was always like a square meal. But some of the components were not always the best. And it would depend on which parent cooked it usually. But we always would have like a protein, a vegetable, and like a starch.
Yeah.
Even if that starch was French fries and the protein was chicken nuggets, we would always have like a vegetable, like green beans or something. So, but that was, again, busy family. We had a lot going on, and it was the best they could do. And I see no problem in it. These are similar to some of the meals that I make in my home now.
Yeah.
Being that we're a house with 2 full-time working parents that work separate schedules many weeks, and we do what we can. My child will never be hungry. That's the most important thing.
Right.
But at that moment, like, as like a 10 or 11-year-old, I was in that awkward, it was that awkward age though, when you start, like,
I remember,
you're hitting puberty, and it just, everything goes to shit.
Right. That was the year that I got the New Kids on the Block t-shirt that my aunt got me, and my mom told me it was too small and wouldn't let me watch it. Wouldn't let me wear it because it was too tight.
Yeah, well,
I wore it in that picture though.
Awkward wears.
Yeah. And it wasn't even that tight, you guys.
No, it wasn't. But like, that stuck with me, and that always stuck with me. That still sticks with me.
Well, yeah.
That was 30 years ago, and I still remember that conversation. And which is why I think I've had a really hard time trusting like medical professionals.
Yeah, for sure.
Through my life. Because I wish that I could say that was the only time, but it's not. As a teenager, I kind of, I would say like 7th, 8th grade, I grew a little taller. I slimmed out. I also exercised. Like, in my bedroom, I would do abs of steel and buns of steel workout tapes religiously. And I mean, I wasn't really a sports kind of kid, but I was active.
Right.
I had friends, and I did things outside of school and whatever. And I was, pretty consistently average, like size 8, 10. Sophomore year, I remember I had a couple pants that were a 6. But like, I fluctuated in that place, and I was comfortable.
That was about me too.
Yeah, and I was comfortable. I was happy. I felt fine for the most part. I mean, as a teenager, you compare yourself to your friends, and I had friends that were thinner than me.
Right.
And I remember thinking like, oh, I'm so fat. But I know I wasn't. And at the time I knew I wasn't, and I didn't think I looked bad.
No.
At the heart of it, but it was my senior year that I started packing on some pounds. And I've thought about this, like, why? What happened? What was different? Well,
you had your license. You could go to McDonald's.
Right. So it was senior year. Senior year is when we did work study.
Right.
And got out of school at like 11:15.
Right.
And I mean, I was working at the mall. I had my car. So I was eating more on the go, more takeout food, more fast food, stuff like that. Convenient stuff. I had my own money, so I could do that stuff.
Right.
So that was part of it. I also, when I was 20, I was diagnosed with PCOS because I gained like 80 pounds from like senior year till I was like in those 2 years after, which was a lot of weight really fast. And I found a doctor that I trusted and but this was also in the year 2000.
Right.
There was they didn't really, I mean, they still don't really know what to do with that.
Right.
But anyway, so it was hormones and all that good stuff. But since then, that has been
right.
That's been always in the back of my mind, in the front of my mind, constantly, is my weight. In my 20s and even like into my 30s, it was more about how I looked. I wanted to look good. I wanted to wear clothes better. I wanted to, just fit in more.
Right.
But now it's not even a little bit about that, really. It's 100% more feeling better, feeling more comfortable, feeling more active.
Right.
And being healthier for my family.
Right. 100%. Like I'm right there with you.
Because I am who I am.
Yeah.
And I am what I am. And I am I've matured to the point where, I know that people don't, my friends, my family, the people that, love me and that I love, they do not care.
No.
They do not care if I am a size 6 or a size 20 or size 26, or if I weigh 150 pounds, 200 pounds, 300 pounds, 400. They don't,
right.
Obviously they may be concerned for my health and well-being, but they also don't tell me that, because that's like a fine line.
Right. It is a fine line, because it's not something that you don't already know. Like,
yep,
I already know. I know that I need to lose weight. I don't need anyone else telling me I need to lose weight. And the last thing I need from a doctor is to completely dismiss anything that's going on with me because I need to lose weight. That's the one thing that gets me. And that's what I've been going through.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I packed on that weight senior year, and then it just continued. It like every year it was about 20 pounds, you know what I mean? Or give or take.
Yep.
And it was it was a year before I got married. So it was like 2003, I believe. I did Weight Watchers, and I lost like 30 pounds.
That was when I did it with you.
Yes. And I was super active. I was smoking at the time, which was like the thing that I really wish I wasn't doing, but I was doing it. But I lost 30 pounds. I just so happened to go and get my dress at this point, my wedding dress.
Oh, right. Yes.
I'm going to let you guys know right now, and this is like trigger warning about binge eating, but I am a huge binge eater. Like, I have a serious problem with binge eating. It's embarrassing. I've always had a problem with it. That's why a lot of the times my mom would not, like, I just did a funny TikTok about like things that my mom wouldn't buy, like snacks my mom wouldn't buy, because I would binge eat them. I would sit there and eat all of them. All the Kudos bars. I would eat all of them.
Oh my God, I love Kudos bars.
And I didn't know when to stop. Like, I don't have a full button. I just
don't either.
And I never have. And I've told my doctors these things, and they're just like, well, you're full eventually. And I'm like, so I have to like gauge, you know what I mean? Like, is this borderline going to make me puke? And now I know like portions. So like I know, but like there are times, I mean, this is so embarrassing. I can't even believe I'm talking about it. But yes, I'm a binge eater. So that's what's been my biggest struggle, is because when I binge eat, I like to binge eat crap. And when I'm talking crap, like marshmallows or like chocolate chips or cereal or just like anything really. So anyway, I got into that habit, and when I'm stressed is when I do it the most. And I was not medicated back then. Like Had no idea of all the things that I know now. So food was my go-to. And getting married was stressful, not because I didn't want to marry Kevin. It was just like I'm a people pleaser and you can't always please everybody, but I wanted to please everybody and it stressed me out. So I started to eat. And you guys, I ate so much that they had to sew an extra panel in my dress because my dress was too small once I got it for the last fitting. Like that's how much weight I gained. I gained what I lost back and then some, which is awful. And I'll never forget that. Like I'll never forget how embarrassing it was, how I felt like my mom looked at me, like other people looked at me when they found out I had to put this panel in the back of my dress. I kind of laughed it off. Like I would like, oh, they had to, oh, I guess I eat a little bit too much or whatever, have a little bit too much McDonald's, like I laughed it off. But it was truly embarrassing. And it just, after that, like I had serious body issues. I looked at myself differently. I guess like even when I was getting like chubby, like getting overweight, I still didn't have the body issues. Like I would like strip, like ask Brooke, like I didn't even care. Like I had zero problems with my body. And then all of a sudden I had problems with my body and I didn't want people to see me in like a bathing suit you guys, I never had that problem.
No, you never did.
I never cared. And all of a sudden I was caring. And this was like right before I had Bryn. And then having Bryn and being on bed rest, I gained a lot of weight. I wish I could say it was the most weight I've ever gained, but it wasn't. The most weight I ever gained was actually just recently. Like within the past 6 months, I got to like the highest weight I've ever been in my life. And yeah, it's also hard when and don't like get me wrong, this works for some people, but I've just never wanted to get a gastric sleeve. And I say this because somebody I know had a loved one that had the procedure done, and I understand this doesn't happen, like it's a very minute, but she ended up dying because of complications from it. So it just was never something that I wanted to do personally. I've seen some people have success. I've seen some people not have success. But for me, I just knew it wasn't the choice for me. And to have people talk to me about it constantly really pissed me off. Like it really pissed me off because I'm coming to you to see you because I'm having like anxiety and but losing weight. You need to lose weight. Like that's the answer. Lose weight. Oh, you're having an issue with your arm? Oh, it's because you need to lose weight. Like,
right. It's
seriously.
bullshit. It's bullshit.
Right. And it's not for lack of trying though. That's what they don't understand is that Brooke and I were just talking about this. We have tried probably not every single diet, but like all the like really well-known ones we've tried. I have not done Jenny Craig. That was one I have not done.
I've not done Jenny Craig because I feel like it wasn't accessible back when it was popular.
Right.
Because we didn't have like a Jenny Craig like center.
Right. We did at one time, but then it like closed.
I don't remember that. I was probably doing Weight Watchers.
It was like a long time ago. Like it was in like the early 90s. Like before we would even
children.
That. Right. Yeah. I've done South Beach Diet. I've done Atkins. I got really sick doing Atkins. One of the wiser doctors that I went to, and him telling me, not every diet works for everyone. If I just would have listened to him 30 years ago, he told me what I need to learn is how to eat. Like I need to teach myself how to eat. I need to learn that I can't have the stuff. It's not that it's off limits because when you tell me something's off limits, that's when there's a problem. That's when I crave it to no end. And that's the thing, like low carb works for a lot of people, and I'm really excited for people that it works for. But for me, I get a lot of brain fog. I get a lot of fatigue, so I just can't do it.
Yeah, I can't do low carb. I mean, I have done it. Like I've done South Beach. I remember buying the book and reading the book and following it. I've done Atkins. Of course, I've done Weight Watchers 17 times. All the different plans. And I had really good success with it back when I did it with you in the early 2000s. Remember when the WOW chips were like a thing?
That's right. And the fat-free bologna.
Fat-free bologna was everything. And that's when you were talking about doing Weight Watchers and then talking about binging, I binge eat. I do. And I have my adult life. Again, I didn't as a kid or teenager. I ate pretty normal, quote unquote normal. But I will binge. So when we did Weight Watchers back then, and it was like the original points program, I remember we would find the lowest point foods and I would just binge those foods.
Same.
I would just binge.
And we were losing weight.
Right. Which, is it healthy? Is it not healthy? I don't know. But it was working. But it didn't help those behaviors.
No.
So, I mean, I did Nutrisystem. I had really good success on Nutrisystem, actually. Like, decent success, I should say.
Nutrisystem was the one that was in Bangor. Okay, sorry. Nutrisystem. That's the one. They have pre-planned meals, right?
Right. I remember getting my box of food at the beginning of the month. And most of it was disgusting, but I would choke it down because that's what I could have. Some of it was all right. And I did really well with that for the 2 months I was on it. But after 2 months, I could not eat the same things over and over and over again. But I lost like almost 20 pounds, which was good. It was coming up to when I was getting married.
Yeah.
So I did what it needed to do. And at that time I was going to the gym like 5 nights a week. This is when I lived in Augusta. And I would go watch TV at the gym. But it worked out well. It was great.
Yeah.
But I would say after I had Sadie and went back to work like full time, that's when it got really out of control. Because I had Sadie, I got to a certain weight when I was pregnant, this is what happens, of course.
Correct.
When you're pregnant and you're like just about to give birth, you are at a weight that you say, I will never, ever, ever see that again.
Right.
And I had Sadie. 2 weeks later, I was down 70 pounds just because of all the water weight and everything. I lost a lot of weight really fast because I needed to. I was so swollen and whatever. Anyway, and I also lost a 10-pound baby out of my body.
Right.
And all that. So then, and I was feeling really good because at that point I was at my pre-pregnancy weight. Like I felt pretty good about that. But then I started working full time and lunch breaks were in my car and I would just go to whatever drive-through. And that was when I would binge.
Yeah.
On my lunch breaks.
Yeah.
And I would go to multiple drive-throughs sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't decide what I wanted on that particular day. So maybe I want a double cheeseburger from McDonald's and the fries, but then I want a spicy chicken sandwich at Wendy's. But then I want a chocolate shake at Burger King because they have the best chocolate shakes. But I also need a Diet Coke because gotta wash it down with a Diet Coke.
And you gotta get that from McDonald's.
Yeah, like you just it was awful, but I did it every day. It was my routine. And I am a routine kind of person. So and that's kind of like a thing in my life when my routine is broken, it's like a jarring shock to my system. And sometimes it's for the better and sometimes it's for the worse. More recently, when I've broken my routine, it's been for the better. Just because I don't know, I think I'm just more not more serious, but more determined. I see the need for me to get healthier.
Right. Yeah.
But it's so, I don't know, it's still confusing, and I struggle with parts of it. I struggle with parts of what I'm doing currently. And I don't know. I don't know what's, because then I see things like TikToks about like intuitive eating.
Yeah.
But like, what if your intuition tells you to go eat 3 McDoubles because that's what mine tells me to do?
Exactly. Like
I don't get it.
I've done intuitive eating. I actually did exactly what Kevin was doing. So he was doing what's it called?
Intermittent fasting.
Intermittent fasting. We ate the same stuff. The same exact stuff. Both of us ate the same stuff.
Yep.
For 3 months, he lost 50 pounds. I gained like 10.
Right.
It didn't work for me. Like intermittent fasting did not work for me. It works for other people, but it didn't work for me. For me, I need to make sure that I'm eating enough calories, but not eating too many calories. Same. Also, for me, I have to be active. Now, I'm pretty much always active anyway. Like I walk a lot. I try to be active as much as possible because like I just need to be, especially with my breathing now and everything. I think it's for the best. But yeah, the one thing I did forget to say was for me, working from home was the catalyst. Like working from home is what put me over the edge because I was still getting exercise, like walking like into work and like, you know, and then I'm like sitting at my desk all day long. Sometimes I would never even get up from the hours of 7 o'clock until like 7 o'clock. Like I might get up to pee.
Yeah.
And that's it, which is not good. But I would do it day in, day out, day in, day out. And that's when it just crawled back on. And then with COVID, it just kept crawling back on. And I got to the point where I just remember standing in my room and looking at myself in the mirror and just crying and saying like, how did I let myself go this much? Like how I couldn't breathe. It was right around COVID when I had COVID.
Yeah.
And I just felt not good. That's when all of this, like Brooke and I were like, we need to do something. Like we need to do something and we need to do it now. Like we need to do something. And we actually started doing something back the summer of 2020 or spring of 2020.
Yeah, right? June of 2020.
Yes.
Because that's when, so my desk job over the last, however long I've been there, 9 years, I also, because I worked retail before. Yeah. So I was on my feet, I was moving. It helped regulate my weight in ways that I didn't realize. But now with a desk job sitting on my ass all day,
completely different.
It's totally different. And the weight has come on and it got really bad March of 2020, when when I was sent home to work from home.
Yeah.
It was only 2.5 months I worked from home. We were not shut down for all that long in the grand scheme of COVID. But in those 2.5 months, come like June, I weighed 10 pounds heavier. Actually, no, it was more like 17 pounds heavier than I did the day that I gave birth to Sadie. And I was horrified, disgusted, embarrassed, and scared. scared to death, because I knew, oh my God, if I get COVID, I'll die.
Right.
Like, I could die. And my parents have already buried one child this year. They can't bury another one. And who's going to take care of my parents when they get older if something happens to me? And who's going to take care of my nephews? And it scared me so much that I had to do something. And I had to do something immediately.
Right.
So that was when it was June of 2020. That was when you had started Noom.
Right. I started Noom.
You had been doing it for like a week, and you told me about it, and I was like, it's really expensive. First of all, that was my first thing. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to try it. I'm going to give it a shot. And I lost 50 pounds on Noom in 2020. So between June and like January 2021, I lost 50 pounds.
That's amazing.
And I'm so glad I did it, but it got stale, as things do.
Right.
And I've pretty much maintained that weight loss ever since then. I gained back like 5 pounds, lose 3, gain 7, lose 2, gain 2, lose 3, Right. But I've been within that 10 pounds, spot where I was after losing 50, which is great and huge. And I feel better from that. That was a lot. So that's when we kind of started.
Right.
Like you and I together. Cause we did Weight Watchers together back in the early 2000s.
Right.
And we were good support for each other.
We were. And in all honesty, like things were working with Noom, but like I had some stressful things happen. And like, as I told you guys, when I get really stressed out, I eat. And so Noom wasn't working for me because I wasn't following it.
But also like, it just goes back to what works for one person might not work for another person. Right. So,
and I was really mad because I'm going to say this, like, it was supposed to have coaching involved, and like my coach just like fall off the face of the earth, and I'd be like, hello, like, and then they finally assigned me a new coach, and I'd had it. I was like, no, I'm canceling. Like, this is ridiculous. I don't know. I just didn't do well with that. And then we started like counting calories, and that started to work for me. That's when like this, right after we came back when I came back after I had COVID, is when we really started to be like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're serious. We're going to start like sharing so like whatever we used to like count our calories, we were going to be, because that's the biggest thing for me. What's the word I'm looking for? Accountability. Like I needed some kind of accountability. And I needed to log what the hell I was eating. Even if I was going over, I needed to be logging it, because then it's like, oh, like eating those 15 marshmallows. Okay, that wasn't a good idea. And I even when I have a really bad day, I still log everything. And that was something Brooke taught me. Like, because sometimes I give up on the day. No, you don't give up on the day. You still log it.
Yeah, you log it because then
and you log
it's a record.
Right. And then you're like, wow, look at how much I went over. Like I can't do that again. And I'm going to tell you, there's still going to be days where I'm going to mess up. Like there's still going to be days that I'm going to mess up. And right now we're doing Weight Watchers.
Yep.
And I'm feeling knock on wood, I'm having some success with it. Finally, I was like at a standstill for a while, like for a long time. I was like losing and gaining the same like 3 to 5 pounds. And it was really
me too.
Off. It was really
for like a year.
Yes. So I hit a weight today that like brought tears to my eyes. And I texted Brooke because I was like, Brooke, I haven't weighed this in years. Like it's been years since I've weighed this. Like it's been probably 10 years since I've weighed this amount. I don't feel different though. That's the weird part is I don't feel different. I don't feel like my clothes are fitting me different. I don't feel like I look different. Um, I don't know. But
you know, the way that, I mean, as we get older, our bodies kind of like settle
whoosh.
differently.
Yes, like an old house.
Yeah, so I know what you mean because I'm still wearing like the same pants
Yeah.
that I wore when I was 50 pounds heavier. Now,
It's
granted, my
so
pants are stretchy.
crazy. That's crazy,
I don't
Brooke.
wear like zip and fly pants. I
Yeah.
wear all my pants are stretchy, even like work pants. But I'm mostly the same size in a lot of my clothes, except for bras. Bras and underwear. I actually sized down in both bras and underwear. But
let's talk about that because I've lost it all in my boobs. Like
yeah.
you guys, seriously, of all the things, like my boobs are probably the size they were my junior year of high school. I'm like a B, maybe C, maybe C. I'm like a B. And it's sad when your stomach is bigger than your boobs. Just gonna put it your eyes. It happens. Come on, like whatever.
It does happen. It is the reality.
So
it's like, I don't know, if I could pick where it would come from first, like where the fat would leave
my stomach,
my body first. 100%, my stomach and my face, but it just seems to like to hang on to my stomach and my face.
Same.
And whatever, it's fine. Because again, like I'm kind of over that part. I just want to feel better. I want to be able to do more, and I want to be healthier and live longer.
I just want to be able to get up the stairs and not be like, oh. Now, given I have other reasons why I feel that way, but I mean, being able to get on the treadmill I went on the treadmill for an hour last week. I felt great.
That's really good.
I was like, this is it. This is what I've been looking for. Now, given I wasn't like going crazy and going at 4 or 5 miles an hour, but there were times I was going like 3.5. Like that's pretty damn good for me.
That is
anyway.
good. That's really good
for me. Because I'm like a typical like 2.83. Like that's how I like to keep it vibing. Like I like to keep it just chilling. Maybe a little incline, but yeah, I was like, and I got off and I felt really good. And then I got sick. But so I haven't been on the treadmill for almost a week, but I will get back on. I just don't want to overdo it. And
yeah, no, because you've been sick. So you need to,
I mean, we haven't even been able to do the podcast. Like today is Saturday. We've been trying to do the podcast every day since Tuesday.
Right.
And I hadn't had the energy. I couldn't talk. My voice still sounds a little, but
mine sounds like that just because I'm tie-tie and I'm laying in bed.
So how are you feeling now? Like, how are you feeling? Do you feel different about this time?
What do you mean about Weight Watchers?
Yeah. Do you feel different?
Like it's working?
Yeah.
I haven't seen a ton of scale success.
Yeah, but you can't always look at that because I didn't realize it. But like my wrist shrunk when I was doing that like 5 to 3 pounds, like going back and forth. Then I put my watch on. I used my regular watch band for the first time, and I'm like, holy shit! Look at my wrist.
Yeah, I went down a whole notch. I noticed that my wrists have shrunk, but that's been over like the whole like fall and winter.
Yeah.
Because we've only been doing this. I've been doing this since December 26th.
Yeah, same.
So we did
the same day.
Right. It hasn't been like super long. I've lost like 6 pounds, which is not that much.
That's amazing. Brooke, that's fantastic.
I think I'm just so used to losing. I lost more on Noom, like in the beginning, quicker. Because it's hard for me to get out of that mindset of like, I'm still a really fat person. Like, and when you're a really fat person, you will lose weight fast in the beginning. And then you
Not
kind of settle
always,
into it.
though. Not
But
always.
I am not. But I know that's not a bad thing either, because I don't need to lose it. It doesn't come on fast. It's not going to come off fast.
Right. Exactly.
But what I like about it is it's sustainable.
Right.
I like, which is similar to the calorie counting. I like counting calories because nothing is off limits. It's simply calories in, calories out.
Right. And you went
So
out to eat the other night.
I went out, yeah.
Full, and you still didn't go over your points.
Oh wait, no, I did go over my points.
Yeah, but you didn't use your weeklies.
I used some of my weeklies. I did not go way over my weeklies though. And I ate like a queen.
You guys, I'm negative 40
everything
in my weeklies right now. I had some bad days, but I will tell you, I lost. By the grace of God, whatever, I lost still. But I had some episodes. Because
that's the thing. But I'm going to tell you this week, and I think it's probably PMS, but this week, my willpower has been challenged.
And you've done really well.
I've wanted, like, I can't tell you how many times I've wanted to swing through like Burger King and get a Whopper, or McDonald's and get a quarter pounder. Like, I just want like a fast food burger, and I haven't had one. Because I know it's not going to do what I think it's going to do.
It's not, and you're going to feel like shit afterwards. That's what I feel. Every single time I do it, yeah, it tastes great as I'm doing it, and I'm like, that was good. And then like not even like 20 minutes later, I'm like, why did I do that?
Why did I do that? And it doesn't even fill me up.
Nope.
Like, I'm not even full because it's just garbage food. Like, easy.
I guess that's what I love about Weight Watchers right now, is that I have those 0 point foods.
That's huge.
And
huge
for me, with somebody with the binge eating disorder, we should probably, by the way, like have some kind of warning at the beginning of this.
Trigger warning.
Yeah. I think twice, you guys. I mean, yes, I've had some slip ups this week, but I'm like, okay, I have this sugar-free, like this fruit cocktail in water that's 0 because it's in water. There's no extra, it's just fruit in water. Maybe there's some Splenda, but it's 0. It counts as 0. You can have as much as you want. If I'm not hungry for that, then I'm not hungry. And if I want something, I will have that.
That's how I've been with eggs.
Yes. And I just learned the other night we were going to have pizza. And I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have some eggs beforehand. So that way I'm not like pigging out.
Yep.
And I had 2 slices of pizza and I stayed within my points.
That's fantastic. And see, I think that's a really good like tactic.
Yeah.
Is because I've been craving pizza too. And I did have some last night though. But it would be to have something that I can eat more of for less points beforehand.
Right.
I mean, it's no different than having like a big bowl of like leafy green salad.
Right.
Before a meal. It's the same kind of thing. Like, you don't have to go into a meal of pizza hungry, because I'll eat the whole pizza.
Exactly.
I will.
And it's these little tricks that you do for us, and I'm sure there's other people out there that are listening that totally understand. There's going to be some of you that don't, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, again, whatever works for one person doesn't work for another. But for us, having that like little bit before really makes a big difference. And
I'm going to tell you something. Okay. I'm going to tell everybody something right now. If it were not for Tyson Blackened Chicken, I honestly owe everything to Tyson Blackened Chicken.
I'd like to thank Tyson Blackened Chicken.
It's what has gotten me through the last 2 years or however long I've been doing this, year and a half of like losing weight. It is Tyson Blackened Chicken. It is my constant. I have it almost every day with a Mission low carb wrap.
Have I told you about the other ones though?
Yes, you have, but I feel like I tried them and I was like, meh.
Oh my gosh, I love them because I can have 2 for the price of 1.
I just love the Mission ones because they don't taste any different than a regular flour tortilla.
Yeah. See, I don't.
They're the same.
I don't feel that mine do. Like, I don't feel like they taste different, but that's good because I'm not going to go back to the Mission ones just in case they do taste different. And then I'm like, oh, this is what I've been missing. But yeah, I feel the same way about Purdue chicken strips.
Yeah, those are good too.
The Purdue now, they're not all good. They're Purdue breaded chicken strips, but I get 3 of those, and I make 3 like burritos or tacos or whatever. I use fat-free cheese. I use low-fat sour cream, and I measure everything out. The big thing that's been with me is measuring everything, weighing everything. Because you don't realize what you're putting on. So like I measure everything, weigh everything, and then I have 3 like big tacos. I just had it tonight with like fresh salsa. Amazing. I hope I don't ever get tired of it. I really hope.
I know. I'm still not tired of my Tyson Blackened Chicken with French's honey mustard and my Mission wrap.
And if you guys have any like ideas for foods like that, like quick prep meals, please send them our way because we really would love to hear them.
Totally. And I feel like if anybody wants like a follow-up episode,
yeah,
because I feel like we have a lot, like I have a lot of foods like that I kind of things that I've found along the way that we could just do. Like I could seriously just do an episode talking about the food that I eat.
I would love to hear it.
And I'm sure you could too. Like I know you have like your fruit cocktail.
That's really all I eat though, to be honest with you. I eat
You do. I mean, I see your journals, your logs.
They're pretty much the same. Yeah.
You eat a lot of that fruit cocktail.
I eat a lot of fruit cocktail. I eat a lot. I have like this breakfast drink that I make in the morning. I have it every single morning. Like without fail, I have it. It's like a protein shake. It's instant coffee. You can use regular coffee though. A little bit of peppermint mocha creamer, sugar-free creamer, which you cannot get anymore, which I don't know what I'm going to do when I run out. And I actually started putting like a tablespoon of cappuccino in it just to give it a little extra kick.
Yeah.
And sugar-free cappuccino, it only adds like an extra point. And that breakfast drink, I look forward to it every single morning.
I just do my Premier Protein and iced coffee.
That's good.
I love it.
It's pretty much the same thing, but like I'm using instant coffee and yeah.
And some extra zhuzhing.
Yeah, just a little zhuzh here. But yeah, that's pretty much all I eat. I don't eat lunch typically. If I do, I have fruit cocktail. I got to eat some more vegetables. I got to incorporate some more vegetables into my diet. I plan on doing that. I plan on starting to do that this week. I love Brussels sprouts, so I'm going to start eating more Brussels sprouts.
The Brussels sprouts I had last night were to die for.
Were they really?
They're crispy buffalo Brussels sprouts. So good.
Are they low points?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I
had them at the restaurant.
Gotcha. They're at the restaurant. I counted them at, obviously the restaurant, it's a local restaurant, you guys. So there's no like preset like points in the Weight Watchers app for it. But what I did is I just went to like the restaurants and I searched for foods that were like similar sounding to what I had.
Yes. Yeah.
I did the best I could.
Right. That's all you can do. That's all you can do.
Right. But making Brussels sprouts like that at home would actually be fairly easy to duplicate. I think using some like hot sauce and the air fryer with some Brussels sprouts and like a little bit of salt and pepper, I think would be really good. But during the work week, I eat pretty much the same thing every day, except for dinners. I switch it up a little bit. Weekends are harder, but I'm working on it.
Yeah, like usually the kids will eat a meal together. So we'll do like I did that chili. We eat a lot of spaghetti because we do it before Bryn's games. And I can have as much whole wheat spaghetti as I want. Hell yes. I love it.
That.
I
it's
freaking
so
love
good.
It. And that with Rao's sauce. Oh my gosh. Like low points. And then I got these are a little bit higher points, but I'm slowly, like eventually when I do lose all the weight, I want to do another like Whole30. Plus I want to go
plant-based.
At least plant-based at least. I've been trying some like plant-based stuff here and there, and these plant-based meatballs, let me tell you, they are freaking amazing. I freaking love them. They're so good. They're so good. So we eat those with our, like the kids had no idea when we first gave them to them. No clue.
That's awesome.
And then they were like, what? And they love them. They're so good.
What is this?
Yes. Now, the frozen ones, not so good. I don't like the ones that they like highly season. Here's one thing that has been happening to me that I've noticed just in the past couple weeks that I've been losing is my hair's falling out.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Well, I guess it happens when you start losing weight. It just happens. Your hair falls out.
Well, also for people that have had COVID.
Oh, maybe. So I'll probably be bald, and that will be great.
I don't think you'll be bald, but it's probably because you did have COVID.
Yeah.
I've talked to a couple people that have had it, and they've been losing their hair. Not to the point of bald, but they're just noticing more hair coming out like in the shower and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine's like, I'll run my hands through it and hair will just come out. It's like, oh, that's wonderful.
I bet it's a COVID thing and not a weight loss thing.
I hope that I get it back. I just watched this TikTok about this special shampoo that people have been using that have had hair loss problems. And
was it an ad or was it like a video?
No, it wasn't an ad. It was a video, and I've seen a couple people post about it.
I've been getting a lot of those ads lately.
You gotta be careful with these TikTok things because
there
was that one girl that was like doing this like manipulation. This like chiropractor was like telling them to do a manipulation.
Yes.
And she did it, and like she like had a stroke or something.
Yeah, that's scary.
So be careful with everything on TikTok. I would be careful with that stuff. Now I'm like second guessing stuff. Like, I'm not going to try that. Nope. So anyway, this is our journey thus far. We did this because we want to be held accountable.
Right.
So now you guys know, and we want to keep you updated. And if you guys are also in a journey, we would love to talk to you. Maybe we could form like a little like support group.
That's what I was just thinking.
Like a separate group, like a separate little support group that we could do, that we could like, you know,
share recipes
and stuff like that.
Or like easy quick fix meals.
Right.
Share like successes.
Right. So let us know if you're interested. Reach out to us.
That'd be really fun.
DM, whatever. And we'll figure it out.
Yeah. That'd be fun. I like that idea.
Yeah. So that's do you have anything else to add, or?
I don't think so.
I think that's really all that we had to talk about. Just wanted to let you know, like, our journey thus far. There's so much more to it. Like, there's so much more to it. But that was like the skimming of the surface. And you know, it's just like what Brooke said. I just want to be healthy for my kids and my family. Like, I want to be able to live a longer life. I already have health issues. You know, you guys know about my mental health, but I also have like health issues. Like, I have really high blood pressure, And I've had it since before I started gaining the weight a lot, you know. I would love to go off my medication. I would absolutely love to go off my blood pressure medication. So that is one of my goals. I probably won't be able to go off of all of them, but at least one of them would be great. So
I would like that for you.
So yeah. And I don't want to be diabetic. So
right.
Yeah. I would like to not be diabetic, please. Thank you. We love you guys.
I guess. Yeah. And let us know about that like support group thing. If you want to do something, we'll put it together and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And if you have any stories you want to share with us, you can send them to mysocalledwhatever@gmail.com.
Yeah. We hope you liked this my so-called whatever. What are we gonna call it? Like
I don't know. We'll have to figure it out.
Yeah. Brooke will figure it out and then we'll have a title. So
that'll be great. And you already know what the title is because you're listening to it right now.
That's right. All right. We'll be loving you forever.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.